The betrayal commander Alexei Volkov stood on the bridge of humanity's finest vessel, the UES Prometheus, as it approached the designated coordinates near Neptune's orbit. The ship carried Earth's brightest minds and most skilled diplomats, all chosen for this historic moment. After detecting signals from beyond the solar system for months, humanity was about to make official first contact with an alien civilization. The viewing screen flickered to life, revealing a massive crystalline structure that seemed to bend light around itself. It was beautiful and terrifying in equal measure, a testament to technology far beyond human understanding. Volkov felt his heart racing as he watched smaller vessels emerge from the structure like glittering insects from a hive. Dr. Maria Santos, the mission's chief scientist, whispered beside him with barely contained excitement. "The energy readings are off the charts, Commander. Their propulsion system doesn't follow any known physics models. We're looking at technology that's probably thousands of years ahead of us." A transmission cut through the bridge's tense atmosphere. The universal translator, hastily developed from intercepted alien communications, crackled to life. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Galactic Council, guardians of peace and prosperity across 300 star systems. Your species has reached the threshold of cosmic awareness. We welcome you." The alien that appeared on screen was unlike anything from human imagination. Ambassador Zixatheta possessed a translucent body that pulsed with internal light, 6 appendages that moved with liquid grace, and 3 eyes that seemed to see through everything they gazed upon. Despite the alien appearance, there was something almost calming about its presence. Volkov stepped forward, representing all of humanity in this moment. "We are honored by your welcome, Ambassador. Earth comes in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship among the stars." The following weeks passed in a blur of cultural exchanges and technological demonstrations. The Council shared glimpses of their advanced civilization, showing humans holographic libraries containing the history of 1,000 worlds, medical technology that could cure any disease, and energy sources that could power entire planets. In return, humans shared their art, music, and the story of their struggle to reach the stars. Ambassador Zix Theta seemed particularly interested in human biology. "Your species is remarkably adaptive," it noted during one meeting. "Your genetic structure shows unusual resilience and flexibility. The Council's medical division would be fascinated to study this further, purely for scientific advancement, of course." Dr. Santos eagerly agreed to establish a joint research facility. The Council suggested Europa, Jupiter's moon, as an ideal location. It was close enough to Earth for easy access, but isolated enough for sensitive research. Within months, 300 human scientists and their families had relocated to the newly constructed Europa station, a marvel of combined human and Council technology. Everything changed on a cold Tuesday morning, Earth Standard Time. Volkov was reviewing diplomatic protocols when his emergency communicator screamed to life. The voice of Lieutenant Pavel Petrov, security chief at Europa Station, came through in panicked bursts. "Commander, they're killing us. The Council, they're harvesting us. They're taking our genetic material, our organs, our neural tissue. It's a farm. We're just resources to them." The transmission cut to screams, then silence. Before Volkov could process what he'd heard, every human ship and station received a broadcast from the Council. The pretense was over. Ambassador Zixatheta appeared on screen, but gone was any pretense of friendship. "Humans, your species possesses unique genetic markers that are invaluable to our civilization's continuation. Your adaptive DNA can cure diseases that have plagued us for millennia. We had hoped to harvest what we needed peacefully, but your security chief's unfortunate discovery has forced our hand. The massacre at Europa Station was complete. 300 scientists and their families, including 67 children, were systematically terminated after their biological material was extracted. The Council's ships, which had been peacefully orbiting Earth as guests, suddenly revealed weapons systems that could vaporize cities from orbit. "You have 2 choices," Zixatheta continued with the cold efficiency of a butcher discussing meat. "Submit to regular harvesting of your population, 10,000 individuals per year, and we will allow your civilization to continue. Resist, and we will take what we need by force before rendering your species extinct." The United Earth Assembly, convened an emergency session. Some argued for negotiation, others for immediate military response. But General Chen Wei, Earth's Strategic Defense Coordinator, proposed something different. "They think we're primitives," she said to the assembled leaders. "They've shown us their technology, their methods, their weaknesses. They expect us to fight like every other species they've conquered, with honor and conventional warfare. But humans didn't survive this long by fighting fair." President Sarah Morgan made the hardest decision in human history. Earth would surrender, publicly. The Council would receive their tribute of human lives, carefully selected volunteers who knew their sacrifice would serve a greater purpose. But privately, humanity would prepare for a war unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The announcement of Earth's capitulation was met with riots and protests worldwide. Citizens couldn't understand why their leaders would bow to alien monsters. But those in the know understood this was not surrender, it was strategy. Every human sent to the Council carried hidden surveillance devices, gathering intelligence on Council technology, infrastructure, and biology. Every interaction was analyzed, every weakness catalogued. Dr. Santos, who had lost her daughter at Europa Station, led a secret project beneath the Antarctic ice. Using genetic samples secretly obtained from Council representatives during the peaceful period, her team worked on something that would make the aliens regret ever discovering Earth. "We're not just going to defeat them," she told her team. "We're going to make them understand what happens when you mistake human kindness for weakness." The Council, convinced of their superiority, never suspected the true nature of human planning. They had conquered dozens of species through the same methods: shock, intimidation, and the threat of extinction. Every other species had either submitted completely or fought conventionally and lost. They couldn't conceive of a species that would smile while sharpening the knife behind their back. Volkov, now secretly appointed as warfare coordinator, established cells of resistance across the solar system. Hidden facilities on Mars produced weapons. Secret bases in the asteroid belt developed new technologies reverse-engineered from Council systems. Most importantly, human hackers had found something incredible in the Council's own networks. The locations of every Council world, every fleet, every harvesting facility across the galaxy. The volunteers who went to the Council as tribute were not random citizens, but specially trained operatives. Each one carried dormant biological weapons in their bloodstream, designed by Dr. Santos's team to be harmless to humans, but deadly to Council physiology. They were walking bombs that would activate on a signal from Earth, spreading through the Council's carefully controlled environments. As the first year of tribute ended, the Council grew complacent. The humans were more docile than expected, providing their quota without resistance. Zixa Theta reported to the High Council that Earth had been successfully domesticated. Little did they know that humanity had spent that year mapping every aspect of their civilization, understanding their psychology, and preparing for a strike that would redefine galactic warfare. The tragedy at Europa Station had cost humanity 300 innocent lives. The Council's harvesting had taken 10,000 more. But each death was remembered, each name written in the secret files of those preparing Earth's response. Humanity had learned patience from hunting mammoths, strategy from surviving ice ages, and ruthlessness from fighting each other. Now, all those lessons would be applied to an enemy that had made the fatal mistake of threatening human children. Volkov stood in the hidden command center, looking at displays showing the positions of human agents throughout Council space. He thought of his niece who had died at Europa Station. She had been 8 years old, excited about seeing Jupiter up close. The Council would pay for every child they had murdered, for every family they had destroyed. But payment would come not as the Council expected, with fleets and battles, but with the slow, methodical destruction of everything they had built. Humanity had learned the most important lesson of warfare from its own history. When facing a technologically superior enemy, you don't fight their war. You make them fight yours. The reckoning 5 years had passed since humanity's supposed surrender to the Galactic Council. The tribute continued like clockwork, 10,000 humans per year delivered to Council harvesting facilities. Earth appeared broken, its spirit crushed under alien domination. The Council's report showed a species resigned to its fate, gradually accepting its place as biological livestock for a superior civilization. They couldn't have been more wrong. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility that didn't exist, on any map, Admiral Yuki Tanaka reviewed the final preparations for Operation Silent Storm. The holographic displays around her showed the positions of 50,000 human operatives embedded throughout Council space. Each one had arrived as tribute but survived the harvesting process thanks to synthetic organs and cloned genetic material that satisfied the Council's requirements while leaving the operative intact. Status report, Tanaka commanded. Colonel James Crawford, the Operations Intelligence Coordinator, stepped forward. All viral agents are in position, Admiral. Dr. Santos confirms the biological weapons in our operatives' bloodstreams have remained undetected. The Council's medical scanners can't differentiate them from normal human antibodies. The biological weapon was a masterpiece of human ingenuity and cruelty. It was designed to remain completely inert until activated by a specific electromagnetic pulse, one that would be broadcast simultaneously from every human operative's implanted transmitter. Once activated, it would become highly contagious, spreading through the Council's populations before symptoms appeared. By the time the aliens realized they were sick, it would be too late. Dr. Marcus Thompson, head of the Cyber Warfare Division, added his report. We've successfully infiltrated their quantum communication network. Their entire civilization runs on centralized systems, no redundancy, no isolated backups. They never imagined someone could corrupt quantum entanglement itself. When we activate, the virus will simultaneously destroy their ability to communicate or coordinate a response. Tanaka nodded. The Council's greatest weakness was their arrogance. They had been the dominant force in the galaxy for so long that they'd forgotten what it meant to be vulnerable. Their technology was superior, but their tactics were stagnant. They fought wars the same way they had for millennia, with massive fleets and overwhelming force. They had never faced an enemy that attacked from within. The trigger for Operation Silent Storm came from an unexpected source. The Council, growing ever greedier, demanded an increase in tribute to 15,000 humans per year. Ambassador Zixa Theta delivered the message personally, arriving at Earth with a fleet of warships to ensure compliance. Your species breeds quickly, it said dismissively. This increase is negligible to your population, but valuable to our research. President Morgan, now in her second term, bowed her head in apparent submission. We will comply, Ambassador. She pressed a hidden button on her desk, sending a coded message to every human facility in the solar system. The words were simple. Remember Europa. Within minutes, the signal reached Admiral Tanaka's command center. She looked at her staff, people who had lost friends and family to the Council's harvesting. Each face showed the same grim determination. 5 years of patience, 5 years of preparation, 5 years of watching their people die. It ended today. Initiate Silent Storm, Tanaka ordered. Across 300 star systems, 50,000 human operatives received the activation signal. The electromagnetic pulse was subtle, designed to mimic background radiation. Council sensors didn't even register it as unusual. But within each human operative, dormant biological weapons awakened. The operatives, knowing their mission was likely suicide, moved to maximize infection vectors, visiting Council population centers, transportation hubs, and government facilities. The first phase of the attack was invisible. The virus spread through Council populations for 72 hours before the first symptoms appeared. It started as mild fatigue, easily dismissed. But the virus was designed to attack the specific proteins that gave Council species their longevity and regenerative abilities. Within a week, Council citizens were aging decades in days, their bodies consuming themselves. As panic spread through Council worlds, the second phase activated. The quantum virus hidden in their communication networks awakened, corrupting data, streams, and destroying centuries of accumulated knowledge. Medical databases that might have helped them fight the biological weapon were wiped clean. Military coordination systems collapsed. Their empire, built on instant communication across vast distances, suddenly went silent. On Earth, humanity's true military revealed itself. Ships hidden in the asteroid belt, disguised as mining vessels, shed their camouflage. Weapons satellites that had been launched in pieces and assembled in orbit came online. The Council fleet orbiting Earth, confident in their superiority, never saw the attack coming. The weapons humanity deployed were not energy beams or plasma cannons like the Council used. They were kinetic kill vehicles. Simple tungsten rods accelerated to significant fractions of light speed. No shields could stop them. No countermeasures could deflect them. They were brutal, primitive, and absolutely effective. The Council fleet was reduced to expanding clouds of debris in minutes. Ambassador Zixatheta, watching from what it thought was a safe distance, transmitted one final message to Earth. "You've doomed yourselves. Other Council fleets will come. You've only delayed your extinction," Admiral Tanaka personally responded, her face appearing on every remaining Council screen across the galaxy. "You still don't understand, Ambassador. This isn't a battle. It's an execution. Every Council world is already infected. Your population is dying. Your technology is failing. And the beautiful irony? The cure is in human DNA, the same DNA you've been harvesting. But we've altered our genetics. The cure we carry now will only work if administered by human hands under human terms." The realization of their complete defeat broke what remained of Council leadership. They had viewed humans as primitive mammals, barely evolved from throwing rocks at each other. They hadn't understood that humans had spent their entire evolutionary history perfecting the art of survival through any means necessary. Biological warfare, cyber attacks, psychological manipulation. These weren't dishonorable tactics to humans. They were tools, and humans were master craftsmen. Within 3 months, the Galactic Council had collapsed. 90% of their population was dead or dying. The survivors begged Earth for mercy, for the cure they desperately needed. Humanity's response was calculated and cold. They would provide the cure, but under new terms. The Council would dissolve. All member species would sign treaties acknowledging Earth's authority, and every official who had participated in the Europa massacre and the harvesting program would stand trial for genocide. The trials were broadcast across the galaxy. Ambassador Zixatheta and its colleagues faced human justice, a concept they had never encountered. They had expected execution or enslavement. Instead, they received something worse. They were cured of the virus but condemned to spend their extended lives maintaining memorials to the humans they had killed. Every day, they would tend to gardens where earth flowers grew, each bloom representing a life lost to their cruelty. Dr. Santos, who had developed both the virus and its cure, stood before the memorial at Europa Station. The rebuilt facility now served as a reminder of both human loss and human resilience. "We didn't want this war," she said to the gathered crowd. "We reached out in peace, offering friendship and cooperation. They answered with betrayal and murder, so we gave them what they never expected, an enemy that would smile while destroying everything they held dear." The new galactic order was different from the old Council's rigid hierarchy. Humans established the Terran Coalition, where species cooperated as equals rather than subjects. Technology was shared freely, but weapons were strictly controlled. Earth became the galaxy's guardian, not through force but through the fear of what humans were capable of when pushed too far. Some species questioned whether humanity was too dangerous to lead. The response came from an unexpected source, a historian from one of the formerly enslaved species. The Council ruled through fear of their technology. Humans rule through fear of their creativity. The Council threatened extinction. Humans demonstrated it. Which would you rather have as an enemy? As Commander Volkov, now retired, looked up at the stars from his farm in Russia, he thought about the journey humanity had taken. They had gone from victims to victors, from prey to apex predators. But the victory felt hollow. 50,000 humans had still died. Families had been destroyed, and humanity had been forced to become something darker than they'd ever wanted to be. His granddaughter, named after his niece who died at Europa, asked him if the aliens would ever threaten Earth again. Volkov pulled her close, looking at the stars that now belonged to humanity. No, little one. The galaxy learned an important lesson. There are no dangerous weapons, only dangerous species, and humans, when protecting their children, are the most dangerous species in the universe.